Welcome back. Words in context. One blank, four words, and only one of them is both logical and precise. Most students lose these points by grabbing the choice that sounds the most impressive. We never guess on sound. We run the same 3 checks every time, and today we'll put 5 fresh questions on the board, easy to brutal, and mark them up together until the method runs itself. Here's the whole method. Check 1. Cover the choices and circle the signal. Ignore A through D until you find the clue that pins the blank, a colon or a dash, a contrast word like but or yet, a cause word like because, or a definition sitting right beside the blank. Check 2. Predict the blank in plain English. Say it in your own words. 2 ordinary words are plenty. Check 3. Match, then plug it back in. Take the closest choice, drop it into the sentence, and confirm that meaning and tone both still fit. Question 1. The warm-up. Check 1. Cover the choices and circle the signal. The colon is the giveaway. Everything after it defines the blank. In a single day, this bird visits hundreds of flowers and drinks more than its own weight in nectar. The first sentence explains why. Wings beating dozens of times a second, burning energy at a furious rate. Predict it plainly. This bird is a huge eater. Now uncover the choices. A. Delicate is how a hummingbird looks, not how it eats. The clue is about appetite, so cross it off. C. Sparing means eating almost nothing, the flat opposite of drinking your own weight in nectar. That choice is gone. D. Wasteful adds a judgment the sentence never makes. The bird burns every drop it drinks. Strike it too. B. Voracious is our prediction exactly. We keep it. Voracious means having a huge appetite, and the colon handed us that definition outright. Notice we never needed a dictionary. The passage defines the word, and we just collect it. Question 2. Cover the choices and hunt the signal. There are 2 this time. The dash phrase defines the blank. Costly toys for wealthy city hobbyists of no earthly use in a working field. And the word yet flips the sentence, because 2 decades later, those same farmers were hauling milk and harvests by motor truck. The blank holds the early dismissal, not the later respect. Predict, the farmers called these machines useless playthings. To the choices. A. Unreliable is a real early car complaint, but the dash phrase objects to uselessness, not breakdowns. Rule it out. B. Hazardous has the same problem. Nothing in the clue mentions danger. Off the board. C. Practical belongs to the wrong half of the sentence. That's the trucks hauling milk after yet, not the farmer's first judgment. Toss it aside. D. Frivolous means a costly plaything with no serious purpose. That lands exactly. D holds. Frivolous wins because it renames the dash phrase, toys no earthly use. The yet clause was there to tempt you toward practical, a right word for the wrong half of the sentence. Question 3. Check 2. Predict the blank in plain English. Right after the signal does its work. The opener because hands us the cause. The island sat hundreds of miles off the shipping lanes, and its one harbor froze solid from October to May. The colon then shows the effect. Entire seasons without a single vessel, letters arriving in bundles a year old. Predicted in plain English. Contact happened rarely, in fits and starts. Check the lineup. B. Perilous smells like sea stories. Ice, isolation, danger, but the clue counts how often ships came, not how risky the trip was. Scratch that idea. C. Frequent claims the opposite of entire seasons with no vessel, gone in a second. D. Brief is the sly one. It measures how long each visit lasted, while the sentence measures how often they happened, not our word. A. Sporadic means happening rarely and irregularly. A stays on the board. Sporadic closes the loop that because opened, a frozen, far-off harbor goes in, rare and irregular visits come out. Perilous was the topic trap, right world, wrong measurement. Question 4. The vocabulary gets heavier and the signal splits in 2. First, 40 years of witheringly harsh reviews, and readers braced for a farewell in the same key, so the blank continues that reputation. Second, the word instead flips the actual column to unexpectedly warm, closing with praise for young novelists she felt were overlooked. So the blank holds what readers expected, not what they got. Predict, they braced for something biting. Now the choices. B, laudatory, means full of praise. That's the column she actually wrote, the instead side of the flip, not the expectation. Cut it away. A, eloquent, is flattering filler. Nobody braces for eloquence after decades of harsh reviews. It misses the clue completely, so out it goes. D, perfunctory, would mean lazy and routine, but her reviews were sharp, not sleepy, the wrong flavor of negative. Drop that too. C, caustic, means bitingly harsh, precisely what those withering reviews predict. C is the match. Caustic is the expectation the whole first clause builds, and instead proves the column broke from it. On flip questions, always ask which side of the flip the blank sits on, the expectation or the reality. Question 5, the hardest on the board. It turns on a second meaning. Check 3. Match. Then plug it back in, because the trap here only shows itself when you test the word in place. The signal, the letter is technically positive, yet the committee read it as a warning. The colon explains why. Every sentence of praise arrives fenced by a condition, an exception, or a carefully worded doubt. Predict that the praise is hedged half to death. Match carefully. A, effusive, means gushing, unrestrained praise. The exact reverse of praise, fenced in by doubts. Out with it. C, impersonal, complains the letter feels generic, but a letter can be warmly personal and still hedge every line. The clue is about conditions, not coldness. Eliminate that choice. D, verbose, just means wordy. Plug it in and the logic collapses because wordiness alone never reads as a warning. Away it goes. B, qualified. Not qualified as in credentialed. Qualified as in limited, hemmed in by reservations. Plug that in and every clause clicks. B earns the check. Qualified praise is praise wrapped in conditions, the word's second meaning, and the one the test loves. When a familiar word looks too easy, plug it back in and ask which of its meanings the sentence is actually using. That's the method one more time. Cover the choices and circle the signal, predict in plain English, then match and plug it back in. 10 brand new questions of this exact type are waiting in the printable practice test. The link is pinned in the comments. Print it, run the checks cold, and I'll see you in the next one.